How does financial aid affect my taxes? Have you ever wondered how financial aid impacts your taxes? Understanding this can help you navigate your financial aid award letters and plan your budget effectively. Let's break it down in simple terms. First, let's look at the types of financial aid you might receive. Grants and scholarships are often the most common forms of aid. If you use these funds for qualified education expenses like tuition, fees, books, and supplies, they are generally not taxable. This means you do not need to report them as income on your tax return. Federal Pell Grants and many scholarships from colleges fall into this category. However, if you use any part of your grant or scholarship for non-qualified expenses, such as room and board or travel, that portion is considered taxable income. It is important to keep track of how you spend your financial aid to avoid any surprises come tax time. Next, let's talk about work-study programs. If you earn money through these programs, those earnings are treated as wages and are fully taxable. You will need to report this income on your tax return, and your college or employer will provide you with a W-2 Form 4 documentation. Just like any job, these earnings are subject to federal and state income tax withholding. Now, what about student loans? The good news is that loans are not considered income, so you do not report them on your tax return. However, if you pay interest on your student loans, you may be able to deduct that interest, which can lower your taxable income. Just keep in mind that there are income limits and specific rules set by the Internal Revenue Service regarding this deduction. Using financial aid wisely can also open doors to education tax credits. For example, you might qualify for the American Opportunity Credit or the Lifetime Learning Credit if you pay qualified education expenses out of pocket or with taxable funds. If you use tax-free scholarships for tuition, it could affect your eligibility for these credits, so be sure to plan accordingly. Finally, it is essential to keep good records. Your financial aid award letters will detail the types and amounts of aid you receive. Make sure to document how you use these funds. Work-study income will be reported on W-2 forms, and if your scholarships or grants exceed your qualified expenses, you may need to report that on tax forms like the 1098-T or 1099. In summary, understanding how financial aid affects your taxes can help you manage your finances better. Funds used for qualified education expenses are typically tax-free, while work-study earnings and non-qualified expenses must be reported as income. By keeping accurate records and knowing the tax implications, you can make the most of your financial aid while staying on top of your tax responsibilities.